Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys, or matter of fact, I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually get tactical nukes in Modern Warfare. OBJ style though. So in Modern Warfare 2019, they have actually allowed it where you can actually end up getting a objective-based tactical nuke. And this is a legitimate strategy that me and my friends have done in order to get tac nukes. For example, in any Call of Duty game, if there's a way to get something and the developers put it in, yes, it may be cheesy, yes, it may be annoying, but it's still a legitimate way to get it unless they come out and say, oh yeah, it was a glitch. But basically, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get an objective nuke, because I think that, in my opinion, this is a lot more easier than getting a kill-based nuke, and sometimes it's also more fun, and I feel like that sometimes it's even more rewarding because you're not just necessarily slaying, you're helping your team win. And I'm glad they reward that. So I'm going to be showing you guys all that here today. And just so you guys know, when it comes to this video, yes, this may sound a lot like camping and stuff like that, but the thing is though is that even though, yes, this will require you to pretty much lock spawns and camp and stuff like that, this is only for one niche scenario. Don't take what I say out of context and say that this is an excuse to camp all the time. So, just saying, you can have a balance, okay? So don't camp all the time and don't play like this necessarily all the time. But anyway, let's roll in with the actual video. Before we do begin, just one last thing. If you do end up enjoying the video, make sure you end up supporting it by leaving a like, subscribing, and all that good stuff, because it's greatly appreciated, and it'll let you guys be able to tell me that you want to see more of this, because, for example, I ended up putting out a Twitter poll recently, and I asked you guys what you want to see more, and you guys said more tips and tricks, so just continue to show that support. Anyways, let's finally get into the video after a 2-minute long introduction, because I like to talk a lot. So, basically, the way that you want to end up doing this is that, in my opinion, there's going to be so many good tips that I'm going to give you here, because a lot of them are actually stuff that a lot of people don't know about. For example, 3 of them right away is the map that you are playing, secondly, who you are playing with, and the third thing is that what is your class setup. So, I'm going to be talking about those all in depth. So, what do I mean by the map? You could technically get a DEFCON nuke, which is the nuke I'm talking about, the ground war based nuke, by playing on any map. Because the way that the game works is that if you are in ground war and you hold all the flags for about 30 to 40 seconds, you will get DEFCON, where you will get an OBJ nuke. Now the way that this, in my opinion, should be done is that you should play on a map that allows to fit for your playstyle. For me personally, my favorite map to do this is on Krovnik Farmland, because I don't like the verticality of, let's say something like Quarry or District. I'm more into just running and gunning, going to their spawn, looking straight forward tunnel vision, as much as that sounds Rambo style, because that's just the way I play. I would rather do that than play on District or Quarry and snipe down at people or shoot people in their spawns. It's just not for me. I would rather play on something like Krovnik Farmland, which in my opinion is the best ground war map. Or if you're like my specific playstyle, the most fun and easiest way to get the nuke. Now, when it comes to the maps, I would say that if you do want to know in order, because Krovnik's not the only map that you can necessarily get a nuke on, this certain playstyle, I would say that at the moment, the best maps is Krovnik and Port, and then I would say followed up next by Quarry, then District, and then the Anya Palace or whatever, because that Anya Palace map, my god, if you get a DEFCON nuke that way, God bless your soul. But anyways, that is the main importance with this, is that you have to find the map that fits your playstyle. I like Quarry and District if I'm just messing around. I do not necessarily like going for nukes on those maps, just because, like I said, they don't fit my playstyle. I, in my opinion, have a much easier time and a much more fun time playing on Krovnik Farmland and Port. They just work for me. So make sure you find the map that works for you, because my playstyle might be different than yours. The second thing is that you need to know who you're playing with. I would very much encourage you guys to have at least one other teammate, whether it's your friends list teammate, or whether it's a guy that you're talking to in-game chat, or whether it's, some random hobo you picked up off the back of the 7-Eleven. I don't necessarily care. I just recommend you have at least one other human being that you are verbally communicating with, because it helps out a lot. Doing this completely solo, even though it is possible, it is a pain in the ass. It is a very big pain in the ass, and it's going to frustrate you to no end. Because the thing is that in this game, the nuke ends the game. It's not going to just be like, oh yeah, we blow up everybody and we get kills. It ends the game. So if you end up getting it, like, let's say at the very beginning, if you get a death con like the first, like couple minutes, people are not going to want to end a 20-minute match in 5 minutes. So they're going to probably actually not let you get death con right away. It's very rare that I've seen the rest of my humongous ass team of like 36 people want to go into a death con. I've seen them actually try to continue the game. Like, they'll let them have one flag, or they'll let them end up having a couple of flags, and it ruins what I'm doing, because you can't have a 36-man party. Like, that's not how it works. So you have to just hope that the randoms will bear with you. And one of the ways that you can just fight against your teammates, as much as that sounds bad, is to have someone, at least some other person, to communicate with. And so if you have your buddy and they're like, helping you try to get flags, it's amazing. Now, the other thing that I would recommend is the class. Now, the class, you're going to want to have something long range. You are seeing gameplay of me using the MP7 because that was the gun that I was trying to get gold at the moment. However, though, this is not what I encourage you to use. I would either encourage you to either use A, a sniper rifle, or B, a light machine gun, or C, an assault rifle. One of these 3 guns will help out a lot because they're all long-range guns and every ground war map is humongous. You are playing on maps that are the size of like shipment times a billion. It is much, much easier and much, much more fun if you're trying to snipe than if you're trying to shotgun. It's much more fun if you're trying to use a LMG than an SMG. It's much more fun if you're trying to use an AR than a knife. It is a lot more better when you can actually reach people that are across the whole entire country. So I would very much encourage you to use a long-range gun. Some guns would be obviously the M4. I would encourage the PKM LMG, I believe that's what it's called. It's the first LMG you unlock. It's a beast. You can end up using pretty much any assortment of sniper rifles. Some of the marksman rifles even do well, especially if you're playing on some of the bigger maps that are more vertical, like District. I would very much encourage you guys to use these guns. The second thing is that I would very much encourage you to use tactical insurgents as one of your specialists, because this will allow you to be able to spawn to the enemy spawn closer. When you're playing ground war, you're more likely to capture the first 3 flags and have a hard time capturing the flags that are in the enemy spawn, because even though the spawns do go around all over the place, they all have one thing that's different, and that is they have their own headquarters. You will always have enemies spawning on a certain half of the map most of the time, because if they're not spawning on a flag, they will spawn at their headquarters. You cannot capture their headquarters. So what you want to do is that after you've caught the first few flags on your side of the map, or more closer to your headquarters, you're going to want to slowly transition over trying to capture the harder flags, which is the spawns flags, which is like E or D or C or something like that. So if they're spawning on the side of the map where, like, let's say the E flag is going to be the biggest, thing that you need to get. It's going to be the most hardest to get. And if you have a tactical insurgent, you can spawn directly there. You can't necessarily do this all the time because the tactical insurgent obviously has to recharge, but it helps out a lot. It helps out a lot, and you want to be able to end up keep spawning there because you don't want to have to take a helicopter or have to run all the way across the map. I know you can pick your spawns, and if you have a spawn flag that's relatively close to them, you can still spawn. It's not that much of a walk. But especially when you have a time where you don't have any of their flags and you have to spawn all the way back at something like, let's say, your headquarters, it's going to suck. So just use a tactical insurgent. It's pretty much a godsend. I would highly recommend it. Another thing simply is use things like C4 to get people off of flags, or use claymores to trap them. Any explosive that you can think of would be really, really good in this scenario. C4 if you're more aggressive, claymores and betties if you're more campy, which is most of the community in this game. So yeah, I would very much encourage you to use your explosives, use flashbangs, use stim if you're more rush heavy, use flashbangs if you're more defensive heavy. Your second specialist, because you can have 2 specialists, I would just encourage you to just have dead silence. It's just a godsend. If you're going to be trying to rush a flag, you don't want people hearing you from a mile away and just aiming down sights and never moving. It just helps out a crap ton. And I would say for your kill streaks, I would say have 2 good kill streaks that are for like killing, but have them be low, and then have 1 radar streak. So I would say have a UAV, because the UAV is beneficial to everyone for the least amount of kills, because the advanced UAV is not worth your time. It takes way too long to earn one, And I would say that like a good killing streak would be like a precision airstrike and a VTOL, because you can get those for relatively low kills and they do a lot of work. A VTOL in ground war is pretty good at holding a flag down, especially if you're calling it on like your last flag you need to cap. It's a godsend. So I would recommend doing all of that. And that's pretty much it for today's video. So like I said, if you end up enjoying, make sure you drop a like, because that is always greatly appreciated. I'll let you guys be able to let me know that you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace out.